great baseball players of all time here at Wagner. His numbers are off the chart. Played a couple of years of professional baseball. His assistant coach at the time, nice enough to take some time to say some words about John White, and that is Mr. Tom Weber, also a Wagner graduate. Tom?
Oh, my goodness gracious. This is 2 years in a row for me. Incredible honor to be asked to induct one of your players or announce or present one of your players for this incredible honor, and it is an incredible honor. I must say, going last is a big disadvantage because I'm drained. First of all, V, you got to come out of your shell. You really do. You really do. You got to do something with your enthusiasm. I was graced with my tenure at Wagner, both as a player and a coach here for 15 years. So I had an 18-year run here at Wagner College. I loved every single minute of it. I either was a classmate of, a teammate of, or was able to watch the exploits of everyone up here. I guess Walt and I would probably be the only two people who saw everyone do everything. One of the things, I see everybody comes up here with these testimonials and index cards and what have you. I made lots of phone calls, John, tons of phone calls. Could not get a testimony. Made my job a little difficult, but you know, I guess you burned a lot of bridges. I don't know. This is actually going to be an easy one for me. It's easy because everybody else's voice cracked. John and I are dear friends. I consider him one of my dearest friends. When John hit the campus, I guess in 89, 90, 91, we weren't that far apart in age. And as you know, in the coaching business, the older we get, it seems like the younger the players get, and it's more difficult to forge these long-lasting relationships. You know, I'm just not a twerker. I've never twerked. Have you twerked? You've definitely twerked. Are you kidding me? Come on. You've done everything. You have twerked. So, young into our coaching lives, we have the advantage of really fostering relationships with players. And John was a little bit of a different kind of guy. He was a free spirit. He had talent and skill that had no nuance. When a guy comes on campus and he runs the way John did, and he has the power that John did in the throwing arm, the rest is kind of easy. You just sit back in the dugout, let him go, and you laugh, because the really terrific players make you laugh. You almost chuckle at the guys who are that good, because they're doing something that's just so much better than what you see the run-of-the-mill guy do, that you got to sit back and chuckle. And my philosophy always was, and still is to this day, is I like to stay out of the way of my players and just let them kind of push the envelope. Make a mistake, I'll never show you up, I've got your back. And I make my players a promise, and I still do, that I will always stand in the way of what stands in the way of what you want to do. Whether it be a professional player, be the best player you could possibly be, I'll take the bullet for you. I'll take the blame. Go out there and push the envelope. I think it's a great life lesson. Take a lot of risks. Go ahead, be the best you could possibly be. Let your reach exceed your grasp. That should be your life's credo. And that, I think, was what John's credo was. John was a free spirit. Tom Hain, our head coach, he liked rules. I was the assistant coach. I hated rules. Because I never wanted, and to this day I manage, and this year I had the wonderful opportunity of working with the Yankees. I hope it turns into something more permanent. I never wanted to be in a position where I had to bench my best player because of some anal rule that I came up with, you know, when I had nothing better to do. And now I'm biting off my nose to spite my face, and I got to sit my ace pitcher or my best player. With all due deference to everyone that's ever set foot on the campus and played baseball, Johnny V included. We were teammates. I managed him. Terrific player. Kurt Blefrey, Andrew Bailey, the single greatest player that's ever set foot on a baseball field at Wagner College. And I have seen every single one of those players. I've either played with them, against them, coached against them, or scouted them since probably the mid-'70s. With all due deference to Kurt Blefrey, who I did not see, I know people who did see him. There has never been, never, a better player to play baseball at Wagner College than John White. He had incredible speed. We like to say, I don't want to get into trouble for this, but fastest white guy I've ever seen, okay? That's what he was, fastest white guy I've ever seen. He had a great arm, although he would infuriate Tom Hain an awful lot when during infield practice he would purposely throw a ball over the backstop. I know you did that on purpose, John. It's okay. He was a great fielder and he had great power. And we weren't the only people who knew that. The professional scouts knew that. It was very quickly, I became a very popular guy. Before the game, scouts would come over, hey Tommy, what's the story with White? Is he going to sign? Will he sign? I ostensibly acted as John's agent. Who is it? Bob Johnson signed you? Right? Great guy, Bob Johnson. All of a sudden we're in the union, the old union, where the food wasn't quite as good as it is today. And, he's asking all the magic questions. What's he want? Is he going to sign? Does he want his senior year? And I said to him, Bob, I think John's ready to go. And we conspired against our own success by encouraging our greatest player to leave a year early, but it was the best thing for him as he got an opportunity to play professionally. This year, when I had the opportunity to work with the Yankees, I remember stepping foot on the field at Richmond County Ballpark to work with some guys. Gil Patterson's a friend of mine. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, but it really is important. I had a thought. I said, I'm doing this now. It's my 28th year, and I thought about what's this all about? Why have I done this? Because for most of the time, I wasn't getting paid. And if you do get paid, except for Walsh, you don't make a lot of money. Mike has got a suitcase filled with cash. And I immediately thought of the call I got from John to ask me to be the guy that would present him into the Hall of Fame. My parents got really, really sick at the same time. The ball didn't bounce our way when we needed it to. And John and I and his wife Angela and Brian at the time were in my office. And I told John about it. And I'll never forget us walking to our cars after we were done. And John just kind of looked at me. And in not so, he's not a man of many words, but the words count. And what he said to me comforted me so much that in that moment I understood why I do and why I think we all do what we do. And I will never ever forget him for that. And when I stepped foot on the field, that was the moment I remembered. I didn't remember anything about baseball and X's and O's, who cared about that? I remembered the wonderful, gratifying relationship that I have had with this young man for a very, very long time and hope to for the rest of my life. So, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce the single greatest player that's ever played baseball at Wagner College into the Wagner College Hall of Fame, my friend, John White.
Yeah, this is very difficult to really wrap my hands around. Just last night, my wife was making fun of me because I had nothing to wear, and now Tom's saying all these nice things.
He didn't find anything.
It was either this or I couldn't button the top button on what I really wanted.
Thank God Sears is open late.
But to stand here and have my wife Angela and my son Brian look at me and hear all these nice things, it sure beats hearing it from me, I bet. This is fantastic. Tom is one of 3 coaches that we had back then. He was the big brother type.
Brian, put that down.
We had Hot Rod Nelson. He was the father figure, and then we had our head coach, and he was the angry police officer that came knocking on the door to tell everybody to be quiet. But Tom was really important to us, because he was the guy that you wanted to find on the bench and sit next to him. If you're not having a good day and you're struggling a little bit, you say, Tommy, I can't see this guy. This guy, the pitcher's giving me a headache here. I can't do anything. He'd say, shut up. Yeah, you look like crap. Sit down. We're talking about Robert De Niro right now, and if he had to fight Rambo, I swear to God, De Niro would kick his butt. So Tom had a way of taking your mind off of what really was on your mind, and then just as you're walking to the plate to grab your bat to go get your at bat, he'd say, keep your head in there. Don't pull this guy. Try and go the opposite way. So he had a method to his madness, and we're all thankful for that. It's hard to believe it's been 25 years since my parents dropped me off here. I remember being nervous and unsure. I'd never seen the school before, you know, just pulling up the road and I saw the cement Wagner sign. Went up to my room and we started to unpack and my RA came over and lucky it was the shortstop on the baseball team, Ken Arnold, and he said, "Oh, you're a baseball player, make sure you go to the field today at 2 o'clock, it's an informal practice." So, you know, it was one of the gifts that baseball gave to me was that before I knew it, everything felt all right. And from that moment on, everything just clicked. I was lucky to have a lot of good friends. My friend Matt, sitting here, is my college roommate. And he and I had a lot of terrific times. You know, sometimes you got to get away from the field, and sometimes you got to take your mind off of the game, and Matt was great at that. I also have a lot of fraternity buddies back there that I see they just walked in, so it's good to see you guys too. I just lost my place. Oh yeah. Back then we played on Bill Willis Field, which was the center of the campus, and you know that was a unique phenomenon. You know, you walk into class and the field is there. You know, you go into the gym and the field was there. And you're looking outside the window and there it is. And we spent a lot of time on the field, and you know, there was oftentimes at 12 o'clock we'd pack a cooler and sit in the dugout and just hang out together. One time we found a javelin. There was a javelin on the field, so we started throwing that thing. It's not as easy as it looks. It's like a technique. You know, I just kind of threw it straight in the ground. So you know, when you spend that much time together with your friends and your teammates, you know, it's not just enjoying it; it's loving it. And this is the line that's going to give it a home. So. It's a simple line, too. I love playing baseball here at Wagner College. Thank you.